landscape of modern music. Now, Alt Nation connects with Billie Eilish and Finneas for an exclusive Sirius XM session.
Yes, indeed. Welcome to it. It's Alt Nation. My name is Regan. I now connect virtually out to Los Angeles, California. Billie Eilish is right there and Finneas right there. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Good to see you.
Well, it's great to see you. I know you're nothing short of busy every single day, creatively, but also the business of the business as far as talking about the music and all the cool other stuff that you're working on. So the fact that you took some time out to do a couple of songs acoustic, and I cannot wait for the Alt Nation listeners to hear a couple of things that we're about to hear from you guys. So remarkable. But you have had time to be in the studio for a bunch of months. We've all had time to kind of, unwind and detach a little bit. And somewhere over the last few days, I heard mention that when Billie Eilish mentions, I got like 16 songs, the internet breaks. The internet full on just breaks, like the alerts and the text and the tweets and everything. 16 songs. So, okay, cool. So right on. Over the last 9+ months, Finneas and Billie, you guys have been working on music, yes?
Yes, correct. The 16 songs are the album that we're making, pretty much. So yeah, we've been going strong. It's been really fun.
16's crazy, especially since you've been giving us other songs during the quarantine. So it's not like you guys have been completely silent for 9 months. It's like, here's a song. It's pretty dope. It's called Therefore I Am. Boom. There you go. And boom. Then you're on the AMAs. And boom. And then all of a sudden there's a clothing line drop. Boom. We'll get to that in a second. And there's just stuff constantly happening from the creative space that is Billie Eilish and Finneas. So of those 16, though, any of them exist prior to putting on a mask and staying in your house?
Ooh, good question. Fragments of them.
Yeah, like a verse of a few, but yeah, nothing more. I mean,
nothing in its entirety.
Nothing in its entirety. And also nothing in even half, like only just like little tiny bits. And only of like 2 or 3 songs, and the rest all came from quarantine. Crazy.
So how do you keep track of those little bits? Are they text messages, voice notes, somewhere on a hard drive somewhere? Like, how do you possibly keep all those sounds and concepts and lyric organized in your brain or otherwise?
To answer the first part of that question, we absolutely do record everything on voice memos on our phone. We both use this app called Evernote. That's cool that you can
Except save. They updated it and they made it trash. And now I don't use it anymore. But that is yes, Evernote is the app.
They have good audio note organization. Anyway, we record it when we have an idea, but then the real truth is we always forget for a while. And then for some of them we just go for 3 days and then we're done. Yes, but what'll happen a lot is we do something and we put it in a time capsule essentially, and then months later we're stuck on something else, and I'm going through files on my computer and I pull up something and we go ooh, and we jump back into something.
It makes it really fun. I think I actually love it when we forget about a song, because when we come back to it, especially if it's a song that we wrote in one day and recorded in the same day, because you forget about that kind of thing. Yeah. And then when you listen to it, you don't remember what the lyrics were. So you kind of get a new look on the song. It's kind of crazy. And you don't really get to do that with your own music and with your own art. You don't get to see it from a new lens, and forgetting about stuff that you wrote in one day, it's great because you can really experience it the way that I think anyone else would hearing it for the first time.
It's a good litmus test if something's good or not too. Sometimes when you're working on something for a day, you become too hyper-focused and you start to hate a line that 2 weeks later you hear it and you go, actually, that's a good line. Good. And then conversely, I'll bring up an example in Therefore I Am. Sometimes you work on something and the only thing you can come up with that day is some line that you're I don't know this. And then you come back 2 weeks later and you're that is not good enough. We need to change that,
Well, that seems to be a wonderful byproduct of having a very fluid, creative situation going with you two, working from initially your collective home, but now your individual homes, but being able to step into a room just like you are right now and just work on it instead of being on a timeline. I would assume it's not great for creativity to be on a studio watch or something like that. We gotta wrap up in 20 minutes. We got to deliver this album. So that's pretty great. Of the 16, because most of them are pretty fresh and new, is there any type of, continuity or concept or tonality or similarity between the journey of songs because they all kind of were born in the same type of space?
It's really interesting because they're not at all the same. They're all very, very different in everything about them, pretty much, lyrics, production, vibe, delivery, emotion. Like everything about every song is very different, but somehow cohesive. And I think that was kind of the same with the last album, which was that we really want a project to be cohesive and make sense, but not just be a repeat and a clone of every other song, because it's not interesting to do that. And I think if anything, if there's one thing we tried to do is be versatile and make different shit and not make the same song over and over. And I think that we do really well on that, to be honest. And yeah, it's really like,
it's very diverse.
It's very diverse, but makes sense together in one.
Nothing contradicts the other thing. I think that comes from working on things in close proximity to each other. And also, we've gone on record as saying this before, but we're not over writers. Like, we don't write 40 songs for a 10-song album. We usually kind of write like exactly the number of pieces that end up coming out.
We like almost never have, when we put out When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? Like, people will be like, so what else do you have? I'm like, nothing. We just put all of it out. Like, we don't have like a list of like, unreleased songs. You really don't. Like, we work on the things that we're going to put out, and then, we're not like crazy fast writers that write a billion things. And I actually like admire that. I think it's really cool when people can do that, but we don't do that.
And it's also, but I think one of the things that to its benefit is like, we're not usually trying to write the same song 5 times. Like, if we want to write a song about something, it's that song. We're not like, let's write a song like this, and then the next day we're going to take another swing at it and write a different song about the same subject. So it's like, that's why they're like, usually the songs don't like step on each other's toes. And I appreciate that. I think sometimes you can hear an album, and I won't name any names, but you just hear an album and you're like, wow, these kind of all sound like they were trying to be like the same anthem. And I'd rather write one anthemic song and then another one that's really weird, that's not trying to be that way.
It is hard though, because you get in your head and like, it's like it's just like a thing you got to figure out for yourself. It's not wrong to do it whatever way you want, but it's just, for us, we like to just make some different shit and not really think too hard about it.
Well, I'm glad you're not thinking too hard, but it seems like you're working super hard at it. And I appreciate that. We do as fans of your music. Let's jump back real quick.
Sure.
5 years ago, it started. The first song got posted to SoundCloud. Do you guys remember the moment? Was everybody standing around a laptop and hit upload at the same? Like, was it that moment that you posted Ocean Eyes just about 5 years ago? Can you recall that moment?
I don't even think it was a moment. It was like, I think it was, we had made the song and we didn't know what we were really going to do with it. Our only reason that we made the song was to send to our dance teacher, my dance teacher, because he asked us to send him a song so he could like choreograph a dance to it. And that's the only reason we made the song in the first place. And our plan was just send him a link and there's the song. But we were like, why don't we just post this on my I have a SoundCloud. Like, I might as well post it. It'll be easier to press the send link button if it's just a public link, right? And
it had a download link too.
It did have a download link. And I think it was like
Wednesday night.
Like Wednesday night. Like, it was not a big deal. Like, it was so random. It was like,
we hadn't promoted it prior.
It was literally like burping. Like, it was just like, there, it's done. Like, nothing, didn't think about it. We didn't expect anything at all. So no, I don't remember the moment because there was no moment. I remember the moment that I was dance class and Finneas called me and he was like, yo, the song is 1,000 plays. And we flipped out in Starbucks. Yo!
That's so Finneas.
Wow.
No way, bro. Okay, so
like Robin Williams Popeye. This is the vibe that I was drawing.
All right, so Billie and Finn, kind enough to give us a couple of these exclusive session songs. So let's get into Ocean Eyes right now.
Voices had already changed, so I was already like driving by then, and like there were just like times where I'd go to rehearsal and I'd be like, I don't want to be here.
But it doesn't, that shouldn't make you think that they don't actually like
value it or get something out of it.
They absolutely do. And nobody's ever gonna always be ready to, let's get in the car and go. Like, nobody does that. No kid is like that.
Even during quarantine, when we have nothing else to do, we have a schedule, Billie and I, where we work 3 days a week. We work Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And the reason we do that is if we don't do that, there are days where we're like, I don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
But we still have it in our calendar. And so Billie comes over and we sit around. And maybe we watch 3 episodes of The Undoing, but maybe we like work on a song, you know?
Yeah.
You jam with your folks? I mean, you mentioned holiday songs being part of the early influence or something you were exposed to. Is there something like throughout the month of December, you'll find yourself going back to that just kind of for nostalgia?
Good question. I mean, yeah, to some degree. Our dad plays piano, mom plays some piano, mom plays some guitar too. They know more like actual verses of Christmas songs than we do. And our dad is a better sight reader of piano than I am, I think, still.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that'll happen in the next couple of weeks, is that we'll all end up sitting around the piano in our parents' house and caroling away.
Dog. Well, so wait, what's on? Who's getting what? Like, have you guys done shopping yet? Is it even possible to go out and shop for the holidays, or is it just like?
I mean,
Amazon?
I'm not even. It's Amazon.
Yeah.
Period.
Okay.
I've gotten something. I've gotten something for every member of my family, but like not.
I've gotten a bunch of shit except for Finneas. I don't know. Finneas is the most impossible to get gifts for because he's like, I don't want anything. Or he's like, I have everything.
Are you doing like a Trump? Like, excuse me.
Trump Finneas.
I've gotten something for everybody, but not. I've not scored fully yet, and I got my.
It's hard to get anything like big and interesting because our whole lives we get to do things that are like unbelievable that would totally be a huge
experiential stuff is my favorite, but it's like we live sort of experiential lives, and we don't get to, it's not safe to go anywhere right now, which is tricky. I got Claudia an advent calendar for like the month of December, and I got her all these little chocolates, and the advent calendar compartments are too small for the chocolate.
No way.
So I just like each day I like open the slot and just put the chocolate on it, and I'm like,
oh my
what a guy though. Way to improvise. I would have gotten nervous throwing the whole thing away and denied I even tried it. So
I know.
Nicely done.
And and the back, it's a little bit, how do we say this? The back of it just says, wish you a merry.
Oh.
Okay, well, we got to get into another song, but do you guys get to a point, do you send him a text or vice versa and be like, hey, what are we going to get mom? Or what'd you get dad? Or do you guys communicate about this? Is there a joint?
We do, but we don't really get anywhere with it. I mean, we did buy our parents a car this year. So that was kind of like a mid-year Christmas present. It was more of like a birthday present.
They haven't respected that car at all. They have just
trashed the shit out of it.
They've rim rashed the car. They've bonked it into stuff.
Left apple rind.
It's very similar. It actually reminds me of a paradigm of like a parent buying their kid a car and being like, no respect. Like the kid doesn't respect.
Yeah, but we were happy to do it.
Our mom puts everyone above herself, and a car wash is an act of vanity. And she's like, fuck that. Like I'm gonna drive this to the food bank. Don't tell me nothing.
I love your folks. We got to talk about your folks in a couple minutes. They are the greatest. Speaking of cars, in the video for this next song, I remember there was a car that went right over the edge and right into some water. And I hope that was CGI. That couldn't have been real. I hope that wasn't real. But we'll talk about that in a second because we have Finneas and Billie Eilish here for an exclusive Sirius XM session. Can we do Everything I Wanted?
Sure.
Let's do it. And Finneas, they're here on Sirius XM. Thank you very much for giving us this session and your time, especially on one of your scheduled work days. I know that I've seen your schedule, and I know, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, I think it was. Those are work days. Those are creative days. But they've taken some time to be here. So thank you both very, very much. That song, it's fun because, hey, Grammy wins last year, but also Grammy nominations this year. And I know that matters. That is a huge accomplishment. Congratulations. And I know you two. And I know that it's not something where you try to play that like, oh, I'm an artist and whatever with that kind of thing. It's important. It matters. Yes.
It's a bit, I think it's an honor. I think that's the best way to put it, is that it's an honor. And the Grammys are a peer voted system. It's like members of the Recording Academy. And like, we're both members, like we vote on nominees. And so to be recognized by other producers and songwriters and artists is like, it's really cool. And I've voted whatever the last 2 years, I guess, is like as long as I've been a member. So, I put great care into it because I love music, as does Billie. And so, I think if anyone's voting the way that I'm voting for other artists, it's a big honor.
We mentioned going into that song that in the video there was a Dodge, it was a Challenger, a CGI though, into the water. You mentioned before that you guys got your folks a car. That's huge. That's awesome. Talk about cars real quick, because I do remember, Finneas, when we were hanging out, you guys did a awesome Troubadour show, and we were talking at that point. You were actually doing the self-driving car thing for a little bit. And that scares, I'll be honest with you, man, I'm from New York City. That scares the crap out of me, but you were living it. You were out there saying, I'm trying it. It's in the carpool lane. Billie, have you been in his vehicle while it's self-driving?
I have. It's crazy that the technology can even do that.
It's flawed.
It's flawed.
It's still early though, but it's self-driving car.
It is. I mean, it's insane.
In a couple years, it'll be great.
It will be, but Finneas has gotten into some trouble with it, and he does not use it anymore.
I don't use it anymore.
But
I was burned.
It was a little embarrassing. He tried to impress the valet, and he tried to have it pull itself out, and it crashed right into a pole. But it's all right.
It was really embarrassing.
You got to break some eggs when you're making that omelet some days, right? I mean, that's just how it is. But Billie, I also seen on Instagram stuff, it seems like a good way to escape during quarantine, or maybe just take a break, is to get into your car and go for a drive. Whether it's you listening to some stuff you're working on, or maybe just other people's music and art so that you can clear your head. You're a fan of vehicles as well, right? I mean, yeah. And even so much so that when I'm on, I follow a whole bunch of different car people, and like people talk about your vehicle, like it's like, oh, Billie's customized her car like this, and so forth and so on. So that's a cool thing too, is it not, to kind of be part of that culture?
She has NOS. She has like two little machine guns mounted on the front,
NOS.
like James Bond. Yeah.
They steamed. Did the steam come out?
Yeah. She has an ejector seat. She if she's about to come into collision, she presses a button, flies out of the top, parachute.
Yeah. I've loved cars my whole life. Like, oh my God, all I've ever wanted is cars, like pretty much. I'm obsessed with them. And yeah, I have like a beautiful matte black Dodge Challenger, which is like the same one in the video, except it's matte. But yeah, I love cars. What can I say? I love them.
Awesome. What you guys, do you mind me asking, what did you get your folks? Now, if you guys both are into cars and you love cars, I'm sure there was discussion, what should we get mom and dad? What's too much? What's not enough? What can they handle?
So we got them a Tesla, and I really just, our mom is
an environmentalist.
Yeah. And it's electric, which is amazing. And
they have solar, so it's like, the carbon footprint of it's very low.
Awesome.
Because they have solar on their house, charges their car.
It's tough to be a car head and also be aware of the climate crisis. It's tough because I'm like, I've always wanted cars, and I've always wanted huge engine, and it's a problem for me.
Billie turns on her car and it's like, and my car goes.
yeah, but do what you can. It's really what this is all about. It's like I don't know, but it's a bigger discussion than we're having right now. But yeah, we got them a Tesla, and it's been great. I love it. It's great.
Well, I'm just waiting for Finneas to record that from his car and loop it and do effects to it, and it'll show up on one of the new 16 songs that we'll get. Yeah, absolutely. Something else I need to ask you about. I need to ask, are there doggy playdates happening right now between Peaches and Shark? Do they get along?
They're best friends. They're not hanging out right now because we usually don't have them have playdates on our work days, just because Shark has a lot of separation anxiety and can't be without, like, I can't go without him seeing me. Like, he can't be alone. So, and even if he's with his best friend Peaches, like, he will just cry at the window for hours straight. So it's very distracting. He's fine if I'm just sitting in the same room. He can't be without me, which is ridiculous, but it's okay.
I would assume doggies in the recording studio could be cathartic in a way and really fun, but also problematic in its way as well.
Small doses.
Yeah, if they can be chill and lay down, it's great. And if they're other
sniffing
side,
all the wires and like knocking over mics
on the speakers, no, it's not a vibe.
Fair enough. Real quick, I did read recently that both of you have friends, peers, other artists that you're able to go to and ask advice from, or, hey, have you ever dealt with this? Or I'm feeling like this. But at this point now, have other artists come to you and said, hey, Finneas, hey, Billie, things are happening. We're starting to, people know who we are now. Do you have any advice to give? Has it become that? Has that become like in high school, you go from freshman to sophomore to junior. At that point, you start knowing some stuff the freshmen don't about the pool on the roof that's not really there. Is that kind of thing? Have you felt that?
So specific.
Sorry, that's a little bit too much into me. My bad.
No, it's good. Yeah, I've definitely talked to a lot of people about this shit, and especially some people in this world right now that are that are kind of blowing up that are young, because I was young and I'm still young, and it's a lot. And it's especially a lot for an undeveloped brain, especially with the internet not caring about the undeveloped brain.
Should that be the name of the second album?
The undeveloped brain. It's funny to me that people forget what it's like to be a kid. Like, you're stupid as fuck as a kid. You just are. Like, you don't know things. You don't know how to process things. You're emotional. You're dramatic. You're
So
annoying.
emotional. It's crazy.
Like, it's just like, people really forget that being a teenage girl, teenage boy, teenage whoever, young teens, old, it's like, you're growing, you're learning, and it's a lot. And to have fame on top of puberty is really something you can't be prepared for. So yeah, I've definitely reached out to a lot of people, and they've reached out to me, and I've talked on the phone with a couple people and really just listened and tried to just let them know that it's like, it's all right and it'll be good. And I've definitely had conversations with people. It's really nice. It's really nice to have, conversations with people that either want to know, understand, or, are going through the same thing, or just, admire you for going through it at all. It's nice.
A genuine connection. And to that point, let's do another song real quick. This one came out in July, and I know that you guys had the first chance to play it live at the DMC, the Democratic National Convention, which was dope. This is My Future, Billie Eilish and Finneas here on Sirius XM Alt Nation. Exclusively for Sirius XM, Billie Eilish and Finneas. Thank you so much for doing this and for chatting with me and dealing with my nonsense questions. I always appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Besides creating the new music, taking some doggy play dates out and so forth and so on, I mentioned earlier, there's never a lack of creativity coming from both of you. And in particular, I had a quick list because I had to write it down because I would never kept this all straight. Okay, so there was the signature ukulele. Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. There are action figures.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, and can I take my Billie Eilish action figure, put it next to my Dwight Schrute bobblehead? Will they get along? Will it be okay?
Absolutely. They will get along.
Okay. And then I just saw, and I'm sorry, I'm going to call it a drop, but you just dropped some new pieces, some new fashion, like a collaboration, so to speak. Yes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which collaboration is this?
Soto.
Congrats.
Sick. That's cool. So how do you compartmentalize and create some space to be creative and feel like you're giving everything the attention it deserves? You kind of have to plan it out like a rollout, so to speak. Like, I can't think ukulele right now. I'm into action figure mode.
It's a good question. I definitely catch myself not giving enough of myself to certain things. Like, for instance, it's tough. It is tough to like have all these things going on. And I definitely have moments because my team is so great at listening to me and letting me do what I want. And I've gotten to a level where it's not such a big deal if I don't promote something as much because people go see it. But I do catch myself because they're not like, Billie, can you post this ever? And it's pretty much all me, unless it's like the specific things. But I do catch myself going like, shit, I should probably
just tell people I have this.
Tell people I did this or care a little more about this. I definitely have completely lost all of my motive for my merch in the last year, and I realized that this week, and I was like, this has been trash for a year. All the fans know it. I know they know it. The merch has been so garbage, and it's just because I didn't care anymore. I was like, I have other shit to do. I'm not paying attention to this. Don't care. And this week I really was like, you know what, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna come strong with my merch. And because I realized I was like letting myself down, because I grew up wanting a clothing line. I grew up wanting to be, a fashion designer, and I completely let that go because I have other shit that I'm interested in, and it's not something I really have a lot of time for. So I talked to some people this week, and I'm coming strong right back. 2021. I'm restarting. I'm getting back into it. So there's like a good example of something where you go like, I'm not giving enough to this. I'm not trying hard enough. I wasn't even trying at all, mind you. So yeah, you kind of gotta refresh and like,
you put too many, things on like burners, and you're just like, your attention gets so divided. I find that like the only way I really am like end up really proud of everything is like for some period of time, and Billie and I do this together a lot. It's like you wake up someday and there's like 10 different things that you're in the middle of working on and that have to be done in the near future. But it's like, ultimately, like, I can't always work on 10 things in one day. It's usually more useful if I laser focus and I just finish one.
Yeah.
Get that off my plate and feel proud about it. And then the next day, do the other one, as opposed to like working on 10 things for 10 days. It's like, work on one thing a day, get it all done.
Yeah.
So it can be really challenging.
They say the first thing you got to do is just make your bed, so at least you accomplish something that day. I've been trying to do that myself during quarantine. I'm like, I made the bed at least. I messed up everything else horribly, but that bed, tight corners. We're good. We mentioned family and how important they are and have been obviously in your lives. And lucky enough, I've been to meet them and speak with them. I've seen them in the hallways at Sirius XM when you guys are on with Howard. I've met them at the Troubadour, and they're such nice, welcoming, genuine people. And the importance of having those people with you a couple blocks away or at your house, maybe showing up and cooking you a meal sometimes or whatever, or spending the holidays with it. I mean, how centering is that for you both at this point in your life?
I think we forget about it a lot. And I think it's really nice to be reminded of how amazing our parents are and have always been. You know, watching the first cut of the doc that's coming out in February, I didn't watch it with my parents because I would not let them watch it until I had seen it, because I didn't know what the fuck was in there. Anyway, afterwards, I was so emotional because my parents are just they're so good.
And care for you so much.
They care so much, and they're such like little angels. And I called my dad crying, and I just was like, I love you so much. You're such an amazing dad. And then I called my mom and did the same thing. And
because on the daily, we're busy being incredibly annoyed by them.
They're so annoying every day, but they're so sweet and special and supportive and like only good parents. Like they're incredible parents. Like as annoying as they are, they're so incredible.
One of the things that I know they've given to you besides love and support, which matter the most, is exposure to music. And so that kind of leads us to this next thing real quick. You guys went completely next level for us and did this awesome cover of a Beatles song. And it's from 1969. I think George wrote this one. Yeah. And it's from Abbey Road. So now I present to you here on Sirius XM, Billie Eilish and Finneas. This is something.
Scene. That's like the thing I would like to happen.
I'm ready to stop like worrying all the time about everyone that I love. Like I'm already a worrier. Yeah. I have been my whole life. And like to me, like COVID-19 is just a cementing of like, I have every right to be worried about everyone, as opposed to like, well, this is somewhat irrational sometimes. So I'm really excited to like be like, the numbers are going down eventually. Obviously, they're going up right now. I just be like, the numbers are going down. You know, you can get a vaccine if you so choose, and like, I'm just excited for I'm excited for the return to a level of
for only
safety.
Selfish reasons, huh?
Well, I just worry about the people that we care about. Yeah.
I again can't thank you guys enough for your time. I wish you all the best for the rest of 2020, and can't wait to see what 21 brings for Billie Eilish and Finneas. And again, thanks for giving us your time as always. You're super generous with the Sirius XM side. Thank you so much. We have one more to go in this awesome session, and it's the latest. This is Therefore I Am, Billie Eilish and Finneas exclusively here on Sirius XM. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate